And we're back with another episode of Franchise My Business, the podcast for franchisors, hosted by franchisors. I'm your host, Kevin Oldham. As always, I'm pumped about our guest. This is like, I'm a kid in a candy store. I get to talk to amazing people doing cool things in the world, helping entrepreneurs while making the world a better place themselves. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Adam Rice to the show. Adam is the founder of ISI Elite Training. He's doing some really, really cool things. Furthermore, what I like is the fact that he has a pretty empowering story from when he was an overweight kiddo and how he transformed his life. If you know anything about me, you probably know that that's something that's near and dear to my heart as well, is people having a very positive self-image. And so any business that can help people feel better about themselves and build their confidence is a hell yes for me. So without further ado, Adam, welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's go back to that childhood.
Yeah.
You know, as a matter of fact, I've got an 11-year-old boy right now. Last night was a tough night. We were talking to him about his self-image. He was crying. He just started middle school. Couldn't think of a single thing that he wanted to say about himself that he liked. And you're a guy. You're way more fit than I am. You got that jawline. If people aren't watching on YouTube, he's more handsome than I am right now. He's got that jawline, and you can see he's a very fit guy. Adam is. Let's talk about that transformation, because it sounds like, I mean, that's what you put on your intake form. So it's obviously something that resonates with you today. It's probably a driver as to why you do what you do.
Yeah. So a lot of people ask, you know, when did our brand or ISI Elite Training start? And the answer is, well, we started in 2013, but I always say it started when I was 16 years old. Growing up, I was always, I think, I don't have a story of like this terrible childhood. My parents are amazing parents and had a ton of opportunities. But I was an emotional eater. I think still am today. Right. And so I was at 16, I was leading the state in batting average, had dreams to play at Division I level, but was getting no scholarship offers, is because I was 275 pounds, completely overweight. So really the day that I say changed my life was and it's one of those, it's hard to hear in the moment, but you look back and it's like, that was the day that changed my life. Was I was at a camp at the University of Iowa, and the coach essentially said, hey, like he said in a very nice way, he said, you're a liability on the base paths. You're not going to play at Division I level. Right. And so he's pretty much saying you're too slow, you're too fat.
Yeah.
So I went back and I started Googling, and this was right when YouTube was coming out, 2004. And yeah, I mean, I went on to lose right around 70 pounds, all done through research, and it changed my life. I went on to play at Division I level, at a very high level. And
yeah,
it changed my perspective. It changed my life. And, that's definitely, I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, but that was definitely the definitive thing that said, hey, I want to do this specifically in the health and wellness sector of that. So.
Yeah, that's cool. Powerful why and origin story, particularly going back to like your youth, I mean, that's like, you always talk about an Everest. I'm always like, what's somebody's Everest that they're trying to conquer? We're always trying to conquer typically mountains, and some of us have hills along the way. And the mental aspect of how people feel about themselves is huge in America. And it's not getting better with social media and comparing ourselves to others. And so I love the fact that you took control. And frankly, I love the fact that you had a coach that, it probably didn't feel very good to hear at that point in time, but we all have these pivotal moments, and we'll always remember that if that comment or that event didn't happen, then you and I probably wouldn't be here having a conversation right now. It was like a life trajectory altering type of convo. So you get into wellness and taking care of yourself. And back in 2013, decided to launch this business, correct?
Yeah. So I was straight out of college. So I had
really? That's cool.
Yeah, I was young, didn't know anything, failed a lot. So essentially, I had I hated school, but obviously had to be in it because I needed to stay eligible. So I had
right.
a scholarship, or an internship left to graduate. So I went to Anytime Fitness there on the campus, and I told that owner, I was like, look, I'll start your personal training department. You need to give me an internship, and I'll pay you $800 a month, but I get to keep all the revenue. And to him, he's like, hell yeah, like I'll do that all day long because it's not a revenue stream right now. So
Right. Yeah.
within 3 weeks, I had 3 people working for me under there. We were doing about $30,000 in top line revenue. And it just like, it was like, I don't know, right? It just sparked something that says that, man, you can do this. And so went on to open ISI in 2013 and opened 5 corporate locations, before we were just talking. And I had no vision. I don't even think I knew what franchising was when I started my first company. And
A lot of people don't. I
yeah,
mean, you and I were talking. I'm like, I just bluntly asked you. I said, "Are you an accidental franchisor or intentional?" And I shared that about 50% of of the guests on our show are one camp, 50% of the other.
yeah,
And I like the accidental one because it's such a cool validation, I think, of when we as creators of businesses create something that can help other entrepreneurs. It's like,
yep,
oh man, like all that self-doubt, which we all still have, we're
yep,
human, but it's this really cool validation and also scary point where you're like, man, people are willing to invest some serious money to ride along with me in my creation. And
yep,
it's a totally different ball game than acting as the operator of 5 locations, right? You're now
100%. Yeah,
yeah. But the cool thing is you have that coaching type of. Well, first of all, you're an athlete and was an athlete, so you were coached, and you understand the importance of coaching
yep,
and what it's done for you. Then you've coached people as a personal trainer, guiding, helping people get what they want. It almost feels like to me you've been training for this type of role as a franchisor because you get to coach entrepreneurs into entrepreneurship probably your entire life, and you just didn't really know it through your athletic pursuits,
yeah,
which is kind of cool.
100%. Yeah, it carries over. Athletics carries over into so many things in business. It's
Yeah,
weird. I mean, if you're successful in athletics, you're failing most of the time, right?
yeah, for sure. Like the Jordan, like the Last Dance documentary. Did you watch that about the Bulls? I mean, dude, he's like Jordan's just prolific at how many missed shots and all those things, and he's the greatest of all time,
Yep,
debatably.
yep.
So you guys start franchising in 2019. Interesting time to start franchising. Unintentionally interesting because
Yeah, it
the
was
world
big.
started doing some weird stuff the following year. So let's talk about your journey into franchising. First of all, when did you know that you had something that made sense to franchise?
Yeah, I mean, kind of went all in. Like we were, so we were founded. Coastal Carolina was where I went to school, which is in the Myrtle Beach, South Carolina area. If we look on a map and we say pick a market with amazing demographics, it's not Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Oh, really?
No,
Is it because there's so many vacationers, or
yeah,
what's?
household income's low. You got a lot of people in the
Oh,
service
really?
industry. So, but shout out to Myrtle Beach. So it's where we were founded. But my wife and I decided in 2018 that, yeah, like let's go for it, and decided to move to Charlotte, and knew that we needed to be in a bigger metropolitan area to acquire really the talent that it was going to take. And she's always been massively supportive. She's not in the day to day of the business or anything like that, but we also knew, we wanted to raise our kids in a place that not everybody knew us.
Mm-hmm.
Our identity was a little bit, we met in college. Our identity was a little bit tied to that area. And so it was really hard to get out.
Yeah.
And so franchising, man, we started offering in 2019. Our first location opened January 2020. So imagine that. Crazy.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Health and wellness space, COVID. Yeah. Beautiful disaster. We still ended up awarding 36 locations in our first year,
Did you?
which was great. And, we haven't slowed down at all. Right now we're really on that growth train where we're seeing now 10 unit, we got a potential 20 unit deal in the mix right now. And I'd say the most critical thing for me was getting the right people on our team as fast as I did was by far. I think for any franchisor there's 2 routes to go. You could argue which route is the right route. But I was always a huge believer in losing a lot of money how long can I sustain with losing a lot of money to build the right infrastructure, right? And
Yeah.
so, I mean, franchising as a franchisor, you're not becoming royalty efficient till, depending on your unit economics. For us, it's around unit 60 to 70 open, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so for us, it's all about how do we find. I mean, right now we have 40 doors open. We have 17 full time people here at headquarters. We've got additionally 3 other people starting next week. So we can provide service up to probably 200 doors with the team that we have today.
That's awesome.
But it's infrastructure, right? And so the other way to do it
Yeah.
is obviously you hire people as you need them. To me, that's a
Yeah.
little bit painful. So it's a little
I
bit.
love the fact that you're like, how long can I lose money till I can't do it anymore? Till, like, wait, yeah, that's an interesting way to frame it.
Yeah,
Put it another way, how much can I invest?
100%.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
Sometimes I feel like some of my ventures have been some of those like, how much longer are we gonna lose money on this before we turn the
Yep.
curve? And that's an impressive amount of team members to support the team that you have now. I mean, you definitely have done the investment aspect and ready to stack the bricks up. And you're, we were talking beforehand. I mean, you've got some pretty lofty goals with this organization.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about kind of what the future is looking like and where you guys want to go with this thing?
Yeah. So one huge reason for our success was in April 2021 was able to bring on Amanda Hall, who's our COO here at ISI. She was the VP of operations and really helped the founders at Burn Bootcamp from unit 17 to 270. So
Cool.
she's been a huge part of this, and then hiring all the departments up under her. And then additionally with that is she went on to be COO at Clean Juice prior to coming to ISI. But her and I actually, again, just when we're talking about it right now, it hasn't been announced, but by the time this airs, will be announced. Are co-founding a portfolio company called Relentless Brands. And really the heart out of that came from, honestly, like a lot of our vendors. We have some amazing vendors, but in other
Mm-hmm.
categories, we have gone through vendor after vendor. And then it's finally like, look, nobody's doing it the way we want to do it. And it
Right.
mostly was due to a breakdown in communication always. Right. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Relentless Brands will be a portfolio company that launches experience-based service brands, so not specifically just to health and wellness, even though our second brand is
Right.
going to be a recovery concept, but it also has service-based industry brands under it. So for instance, we have a project management company that then services all of our brands. We then have a franchise sales organization that services all our brands. What else we have? We have a marketing company, so Relentless Marketing, that
Mm-hmm.
services. We have a nutritional company, so our supplement company sits under Relentless Brands. And then, I mean, really the purpose of this is to create a huge platform and opportunity for our owners to be able to be multi-unit, multi-brand owners. And it allows
Yeah.
us to invest heavily in infrastructure resources that are going to far exceed any emerging franchisor. The level of talent that we can bring on because we're generating revenue in multiple areas is just a full-on better experience for our franchise owners. So we're excited about
Yeah.
that. The next brand that will, again, it'll be announced by the time this airs, is one that
Yeah.
we are like head over heels on and expect the same growth that ISI is, called the Plunge House. But
Yeah.
it's a,
Yeah. Cold plunging.
yep.
Yeah. Dude, I love it.
Been a concept that hasn't been launched in franchising. There's a
I
lot of
know. It's weird.
saunas and different things. So it's essentially a high end membership based. Number one, it's making cold plunging accessible to everybody. Number two, it's contrast therapy. So there'll be 28 tubs in a communal area that you're going to go hot, cold on that. And then
Mm-hmm.
very, very high end locker rooms. And then we're only taking 300 members on it. And so that's
Yeah.
the other thing on that. So we're excited
Dude,
about it.
let me know when you launch that because I've been wanting to. I don't have the energy or desire to go build that, but
Yep.
I have seen a need for that. Like I cold plunge every Sunday. Everybody always thinks I'm kind of weird, but I get a lot of questions about it.
Yep.
And making it accessible to everybody has been a dream of mine. Like even we thought about shutting down this office we're in right now, my marketing company. I'm like, we could turn this into a cold plunge place.
Yep.
That was my first thought, right? So
Yep.
I think you guys are definitely on to something. That'll be cool to hear how that venture goes. I'm excited for you guys. The whole, I love the whole kind of holding company or parent company approach as well. So I recorded my solo episode. So for those of you that are listening today, it's going to be episode number 75 that aired on 9/19. And I talk about the power of holding companies in the franchise space. Like that's literally the episode that I did. I've worked in one of these where we had 3 franchise brands, a marketing company, shared services, all in one roof.
Yep.
About 100 employees servicing 600 locations. And I got to operate in that building as the chief marketing officer for 7-8 years, and it was a really efficient way to be able to build a portfolio of franchise brands. So that's super cool that you're at those formative stages of that
Yeah.
venture. I look forward to watching what you guys do.
Thanks, man. We're excited.
So let's talk about what is the format of ISI Elite Training when a customer comes there? Let's take the franchise side and put it off to the end. What's different about your guys's business model as it relates to customers? In case somebody's listening and they're like, "Hey, this is a biz op that I might want to get involved in because I care about wellness or whatever." So let's brag about what you built.
Yeah. So we call our training style, it's boutique. So for anyone that doesn't know, we're in the boutique fitness space, 2,400 to 3,200 square foot, Class A real estate, same category as Orange Theory, F45, in that kind of arena.
Okay.
Membership pricing, same category as them, $150, $200 a month. Our sessions coach led. We call them ABT. So that stands for athletic based training. And really when I founded the brand, I said, how do I bring the two components that changed my life into essentially a direct to consumer product and experience, right? And so those two avenues, number one was athletic based training. So training people like athletes, whether they have an athletic background or not. You can't argue that athletes are the most functional, strongest, mobile, powerful humans that are walking the planet.
Yep.
And there's a sense of power in being an athlete, and we all are an athlete of some sort. And then additionally with that is going back, I played in stadiums in front of 20,000 people and on ESPN and all that, but it's not that I remember. It's the bus rides. It's the locker room. It's, it was that. So how do we bring
the camaraderie?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. The community aspect, right?
Yep.
Accountability to others, something bigger than yourself, even though you're doing your self work. Yeah.
Right. And so we
push people to bigger results, right?
100%. Yeah. When you're a part of something bigger than yourself, because in fitness, our mindset a lot of times, and it's a have to versus a get to, right? And so if we can create a space and an atmosphere where people are doing life with people that they enjoy, like the atmosphere, the turf, the graphics, it makes them feel like an athlete, then we can get them there. And that's our struggle within the fitness industry, is to get people to walk through the damn door. And then once they're there, we're good. Like, we got you, right? And so why our member retention is through the roof. It's because it's not about the workout. The workout's awesome, but it's really about the space and the community, and they get to see their people, right? It's 50 minutes out of their day where they get to disconnect, not think about anything, walk out feeling great about themselves. And for us, it's this where we really differentiate ourselves within the industry specifically. It comes down to the strength component of it. So very strength based, but in that boutique fitness setting. So we're about 60% female, 40% male. That ratio is way stronger on the male side than most concepts. Typically in boutique fitness, it's about 80-20.
Is it?
Yeah.
You mentioned some of these other similar concepts. Are you gamifying the your customer journey? Meaning, like I've got friends that have gone to Orange Theory and they're always like posting stuff on social media. And I'm super excited for them because I can tell, as a marketer, I know it's the gamification that's driving them and the accountability. Have you guys put other little things like that into yours, like leaderboards and things that get people rah-rah to accountable and competitive, maybe even with their classmates?
Yeah. I mean, there's several components. I'd say first off, the way that we view technology is Orange Theory, for instance, an amazing company, done amazing things. They're at the heart of who they are. They're a technology company. Right. And their product is fitness. where we really view technology is we're highly innovative on the back end side, but
Hmm.
we never want to utilize technology to replace the human to human interaction. We're actually going to leverage
Yeah.
technology to increase the human to human. It's just a little bit of how we're
Mm.
different. However, with that being said, understanding the customer journey and how they quantify results. So there's a level of ascension, right? So there's always a next
Yeah.
for them comes down to our in bodies in every single location. So on the cloud, they have their actual
Cool.
body fat percent results. That's number one. Number two, we have something that's called an Iron Mark workout, and it ranks them by sex, age, and also division. So there's 3 divisions per each of
Uh-huh.
those, and they rank. We do those in what's called a Turf Wars challenge right now, but they get to see across the country where do they rank. So think kind of CrossFit from a level
Yeah. Yeah.
CrossFit competition,
For
but
those of us who are competitive, man, that'll just get you going, dude. Like yeah, yeah, nothing like quantifying your work to the whether it's against yourself or against your peers, and people respond to different accountability. I like both. I need as much as possible. I'm one of those types of people that like I like to compete against myself,
yep,
but I had a martial arts tournament in St. Louis this weekend, and I really like to compete against other individuals that are my division, age, rank, similar skill set, right?
yep,
And I like the fact that you've broken them up too, so that it's like you may have some people that are starting their fitness journey versus somebody who's been in it for many, many, many years, and those people are different. They're different, and they should be not measured against each other. You know?
yeah. And then the third way is just a culture of celebration. So we've got right on their app, they can see what session it is. So every 50 sessions, we celebrate them with a picture. We
Oh,
throw them on the
cool.
ski erg. Everybody rallies around, like clapping them up.
Yeah,
They do 30 seconds on the ski erg. So yeah, I'd say it's really recognizing the good patterns that people are having, and then that makes them more tied and loyal to the brand at the end of the day.
yeah, yeah. And we all know that if we can get people to, I don't know what the strike point is. For me, it's like 30 days. If I do something for like 30 days, chance and it's congruent with whatever I'm trying to get done,
Yep.
chances are it'll stick. And you said the number one challenge in the fitness industry is getting them through the door. I would say your probably second one is getting them to show up for like those first 30 days. Like when I see a new martial artist come in, a new white belt, I'm getting ready to test for my black belt, and I'll be like, "You just took your hardest class. Come back
Mhm.
tomorrow.
Yep.
Come back. You just did the hardest thing. You stepped into the dojo for the first time. It's really hard to be the new kid. Come
Yep.
back tomorrow, please. I would love to see you here." And when people feel welcomed in their place to go work on themselves, you get that tribal aspect, and then
Yep.
they'll probably stay there until they move. It's like once you get into a tribe and you feel good, and it's like your family, and you're doing stuff for yourself, and like you said, you have that 50 minutes to shut off the world. Unless you get injured or move, chances are you probably got a customer for life. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
100%.
Yeah. What's next for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we're on a sprint, man. We're on a sprint to 400 locations by
Wow,
end of
that's huge.
2025. So that's where we're highly focused on, and that's another reason, honestly, like why with the drive behind the portfolio brands is to that's we operate off the EOS system here. I don't know if you're familiar with
Do
that.
you? Traction, yeah. I
Yeah.
love it.
So
Yeah.
our 10-year vision, this was one of those things that says, hey, this is going to be an element. So when we track down into like our 3 targets for the year during annual planning and all that, this is one of those things that's going to move us way closer to that. And it provides us a lot more resources. It also provides us a lot better retention for our employees here at headquarters because it creates pathways and diversity
Yeah.
for them to be able to focus on, 100% ISI, but also the ability to say, hey, we're launching this brand. There's a pathway, for maybe a franchise business coach to director of operations. And
Hmm.
it's just healthy. It also provides our franchise partners a phenomenal opportunity to open a synergetic brand that's in the same platform. So,
Yeah. I want to touch on EOS. For people who aren't familiar with the EOS, it stands for Entrepreneurs Operating System. Gino Wickman is the author. It's basically like a structure you can install into your business to, create accountability, cadence of meetings, and all those things. Did you guys self-implement, or did you hire a guide to implement you through EOS? Because it can be kind of meaty to get through. Or did your COO lead the charge?
yeah. Yeah, so Amanda really installed that when she
She
came in.
did.
There was no such thing of L10 meetings. I didn't know what the hell they were. Um,
Yeah.
but now
Us
it,
entrepreneurs who are like create, like
yeah,
that's like, but it's good when we get a rock star who can come in and do this type of work for our organization. So keep going. I'm sorry.
no. So I mean, now it's we're by the book, non-negotiable. Every week, every department has an L10. We have a leadership L10. We just got done with our 2024 annual planning up in the mountains, and it's, I mean, we're here to stay with it. It's definitely changed our ability to deliver faster and clearly communicate across the board and create ownership for each individual too, that on what they're supposed to be delivering. So it's been great.
Dude, that's awesome. I love hearing that. I love hearing that. We use elements of EOS. We're not by the book, but I love the elements that we've incorporated into our business. It definitely the way I like to explain it is I sleep better at night. Like there's less chaos in the business, and I know that there's less chaos in the business, so therefore I can rest easier as the visionary type of person who has all the ideas. Plus it helps make these ideas. First of all, it helps make sure that the organization can support them. But secondly, it helps with EOS really helps for getting visionary ideas actually done,
Yep.
like executed to the best of their ability. So cool, cool, cool. If people want to learn more about you, connect with you online, learn about your company, what's the best place for them to do so?
Yeah. From the consumer side, it's isielitetraining.com. From the franchise side, it's isifranchise.com. And then we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube,
Cool.
all those. And then we do have our own podcast called Train for Life that myself and Amanda host. And then I think my personal Instagram is Adam Rice _ ISI, I think.
You think? Well, if not, we'll drop it in the show notes down below. Adam, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Congratulations on, I think, building a business that is congruent with like a pretty serious life experience. Like something that's pretty heady. Like it's cool to see an entrepreneur go create something that comes from a powerful, deep sense of why.
Yeah.
Because you know that when the hard times come, you're going to be like looking back at that kid who got that bad news from the coach who said, "Hey, I'm a little bit too hefty, right?" And be like, "No, I'm not. I got this," and go forward. So yeah,
That's awesome,
it's
man.
awesome.
Well, hey, keep doing your thing. I appreciate it. It was great meeting you too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed today's conversation with Adam. I sure did. If you're somebody who's into health and wellness, feel free to check out an ISI Elite Training Center near you. It sounds like there's going to be a lot more in the coming years. I just have one ask. If you like today's episode, I'd love it if you smash the subscribe button. Until next time, I'm your host, Kevin Oldham. Have an awesome week and be well.